what they do, what it is. This is Orion, aka Brass Balls, a new episode of Deep Dive Tape Stash. It's been a minute since I hit y'all up with this. Before we take this deep dive into the abyss of this hip-hop thing that we all love and hold dear to our hearts, please subscribe to the YouTube channel Orion Hip Hop, where you can peep previous episodes of Deep Dive Tape Stash, as well as dope-ass music from yours truly, Orion, aka Brass Balls. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, sharing, liking, reposting, and all that. I always truly appreciate each and every one of my subscribers, followers, all that. Now, put on your trusas. Shit is about to get wet. Pause. We're gonna get into this joint right here that I got in front of you. This is KRS One's MCs Act Like They Don't Know. The year is 1995 when this banger, produced by DJ Premier, hit the streets and went all the way motherfucking live. In fact, I would say this is the song that really turned me into a KRS fan. Yes, I know, BDP was long before this ever came out, but I was a jit then and really didn't get in sync with what KRS One had to offer until 95 when this was released. Man, I will say the memories that flood me when I think of this track, I'ma really go into, because this is actually on tape that I have in front of you, but I got this tape recently in a bundle package with a bunch of other tapes that I found online that I wanted to add to the colección. But I actually had this single on CD first. The CD I bought at Specs in Westland Mall, and I remember it was one of those situations where I was buying some other CDs and I only had enough to spare a single up in there, and I remember copying this on CD and I played that shit all the way out because it had the instrumental, it had the acapella, it had for the B-side, which we're gonna get into. This tape, however, only really has the album version of MCs Act Like They Don't Know, and then on the B-side it has Represent the Real Hip Hop featuring Das EFX, but no instrumental, no acapella. So I'm actually pretty glad that when I was young, I went ahead and bought the CD single of this. What comes to mind when I hear this, aside from the fact of being a jit, being in, I think it was 7th grade, the shit that really jumps out at me is the video. The video was very dope. And had mad cameos, a who's who of hip-hop. One surprising cameo that took everybody off guard was Bud from Married with Children. That's right. Blastmaster B or Grandmaster B, whatever he went by, made his cameo in the KRS One. That one, I remember seeing that. The production, of course, is stellar. DJ Premier and KRS One, a lot of people don't talk about the chemistry that them two brothers had. You see it through and through on Return of the Boom Bap, and on this self-titled album that this track is from, the KRS One self-titled album, there's a lot of joints Premier produced. Reality, Wannabe MCs, Rappers Are in Danger, and of course MCs Act Like They Don't Know. All stellar tracks. Like Nas and Premier, obviously, like some of the best collaborations came out of those two. Gangstar, of course, with Guru and Premier, but I would dare to say that KRS One is a close third place of cats who have collaborated with DJ Premier and really made the most out of them collabing on. So I love to see them two collab. I'm not gonna sample snitch on this. There's actually an episode of So Wassup. This is a webisode thing that DJ Premier does that you could check out. Episode 5, he talks about this track. So I'm not gonna sample snitch, but what Premier did with the sample is so dope to me. The bells that he added, and one thing that I researched that I could not figure out was this noise. Now I don't know what he sampled for that, but I couldn't figure it out. And I know the Roots actually used that same sample in a song called Right On that you could peep on online to see what I'm saying. But you know, I hope to one day figure that out. Maybe I'll be privy to a conversation with Premier one day. I don't know. A brother can dream, can he not? Now the B-side was produced by DITC's Showbiz. This is boom bap all the way. There's really nothing crazy going on with the beat. It was just made for KRS One and Das EFX to just rip this shit and put the bars center stage, with the beat just literally being that real boom bap shit. The track was also featured on Das EFX album Hold It Down, so I guess the brothers liked the song enough to make sure to put it on both releases. I just really love the energy that they display on this track. I feel like this era in hip-hop was so playing basketball at the park era. I feel like a lot of boom bap shit was conducive for going to the park with your homies and playing ball. And the Hold It Down Das FX album is one of them albums for me as well. But going back to this KRS self-titled album, it's by far my favorite KRS One release. Return of the Boom Bap is very ill, and I Got Next is very ill to me too. That was an incredible run that he had in the 90s with those 3 releases back to back. But this self-titled album for me is everything. This is my favorite KRS track. KRS's evolution as an artist is wide, because you're talking about somebody who was prominent in a lot of decades in this hip-hop thing. So there's a big portion of KRS One fans that they hold near and dear to their hearts. Criminal Minded as his best one, or Edutainment as his best one. For me, it was the later half of KRS. It was that 90s KRS that I really felt he was at a lyrical pivotal point in his career. And I love this album so much that I was actually years ago at a KRS One lecture. He was in Miami, he did some shows, and then they booked him for a lecture on a Sunday or something like that. Shout out to my dog Tony Muhammad, Urban American newspaper, who was part of the people that put that thing together. And it was just a lecture KRS had. It was a packed room. It was in, I believe it was either Liberty City or Little Haiti, where we were at, some auditorium there. And he really had a lot of dope stuff to say. At the end, everybody ransacked him for autographs, and I was looking forward to this because KRS One is a graffiti artiste, man. And I knew this was gonna be a fucking incredible tag on my favorite KRS One album. And he was doing it, yo. It was right in front of me. It was gonna happen. And this little girl, possibly 9, possibly 10 years old, I don't know, but she bumped his elbow as he was doing the tag and fucked it all the way up. And I could see it in KRS One's face. He was just like, damn, homie, my bad, homie. And he just handed it back to me. And I looked at that. I never wanted to kill a little kid so bad in my life. But there's good news for me. March 8th, KRS One is going to be in Miami, Lincoln Beer Brewing. So I am going to make sure that I take another KRS One and get that autograph properly done. So March 8th, come check out KRS One, the legend. By the way, I'm going to be opening up that night. That's right. Me and my dogs, Grupo Henny, we're going to do a set together, bless the crowd and all that, and open up for the Blast Master KRS. KRS always puts on an incredible live show. Unlike many other MCs, man, his caliber of live performance is impeccable. So if you have not peeped the KRS One show, this is your opportunity to do so. If you are in the Miami area, do not sleep. Tickets are going fast. Shout out to my dog DJ Heron, Addictive Affairs, WVCC Sci-Fly for making this whole thing happen and keeping hip-hop alive in the 305 Dade County. One thing I want to add is that KRS One was a jive artist for pretty much his whole career. And in the 90s, man, Jive had the ill roster, the ill underrated roster. They had a Tribe Called Quest, Keith Murray, Fu-Schnickens. They had Souls of Mischief, Spice One, Too Short. And I think they dropped the ball in not cultivating more relationships between the artists that were a part of that label. I think the artists on that label may have gotten along and shouted each other out and that sort of thing. But the label could have done more. The A&Rs could have done more to have guys on the same label featured. I mean, how did we not get a Tribe Called Quest and Souls of Mischief collaboration, or get Keith Murray on a KRS track, or you know what I'm saying? I mean, we would later because KRS kind of reaches out to everybody. But yeah, man, it's one of them things that I think Jive's roster could have been as dope as Loud Records, but they didn't cultivate those relationships between their artists, and I think it showed, man. I think that the artists just looked at that label like what it was, a label, a company, a bank, if you will. You feel me? If you know, you know. And record companies are shady. All right, yo, that's about it. Thank you for reminiscing with me. Deep Dive Tape Stash. My name is Orion, aka Brass Balls. Peace.